The death toll is rising as daylight has come, and now we have crews going out door to door checking on people in New York and New Jersey. The total, as it stands right now, 14 people who've died, mostly because of flooding in this case. I want to take you to a suburb of Philadelphia, to Bridgewater, Pennsylvania. The NBC helicopter is up overhead, and what we're seeing here is widespread water damage. This is near the King of Prussia Mall, northwest of the city center of Philadelphia, and you can see just how much water they were inundated in. This was a historic rain event in New York City. All of that rain, and remember, Central Park got more than 3 inches in 1 hour yesterday, shattering records. What we saw is that it created lingering mass transit problems. So even this morning, even as subways start to resume service today, there are still widespread disruptions on those lines. And then the regional transit in New Jersey and the MTA, the train lines that go north and west of the city have been disrupted. In Newark, New Jersey, there were also massive flooding problems at the airport in Newark. Newark reported 3 inches of rain or more than that in less than an hour. And the flooding actually went into the terminals themselves. They had suspended all flights. Some of those flights have resumed this morning for limited service. But again, the airport has sent out alerts saying you may have trouble even getting to the airport because of blocked roads, because of flooding and downed trees. There are problems on the FDR. The FDR is, it was essentially a parking lot where people had abandoned cars in the flooding. That's the massive thoroughfare that runs up and down the eastern side of Manhattan. And all of that water, with people just leaving their cars if they had stalled, trying to get out of the floodwaters way. So a real problem there. And then the last piece of video that I wanted to show you, and this is just coming into us at CNBC. Oh, we don't have it. We just know that there's such widespread flooding that there are major metropolitan areas in New Jersey that are swamped with water at this point, and that the rescue crews are going out, guys, and still finding people who need help.
It's just the damage appears to be so broad, and certainly those of us who live in the New York metro area got a firsthand glimpse at it as well. I mean, I have video from my future brother-in-law, Manny Pena, who's a first responder. He's a firefighter with the FDNY. This is northbound on the Sawmill River Parkway in Lower Westchester County in Yonkers, New York. Last night, he got stuck in this. Thankfully, he got home safe. But you can see the flooding there as well. And actually, he helped another traveler who was stranded and whose car was submerged get home, too, which kind of brings me to my question, Contessa. I mean, we're already seeing $15 billion, $20 billion, $25 billion estimates, early estimates being put on the damage from Hurricane Ida down in the Gulf region, where insured losses are concerned. But the fact that we're seeing this type of damage sweep through the Northeast, which is so populous as well, what could the potential impact be to not only the property casualty insurers, but also the reinsurers? And what we're going to see is already just in Louisiana, there was some expectation within the industry that the reinsurance would kick in because you would have the insurers hitting their limits on catastrophe spend. But what happens in the Northeast, and Morgan, you've covered insurance, you know this, people get caught off guard because they live now in areas that were not typically prone to flooding. And when rivers rise and you get flooded, it's a different kind of coverage that's required than if the rain gets in because there's roof damage or things like that. So what happens here is that some of the people may get insurance coverage if they have proper insurance on their homes. They may see coverage because of the wind damage, because of trees into roofs. We know that there were tornadoes. There were multiple tornadoes that were confirmed in Maryland and New Jersey and elsewhere. But the real question is, as these rivers rise, and remember the Schuylkill in Philadelphia, the Delaware River, those are not supposed to crest until tomorrow. That kind of flooding requires a different kind of insurance. Usually flood insurance is required, and a lot of people live in areas that traditionally didn't require mandatory flood insurance.